Elwood Part 2, Triple Trouble. It was 4 happy years after Elwood had arrived on Jag that the 3 witch sisters disembarked and opened up shop in Webb, the village between the thumb and first finger of the mountain. The sisters plied their trade well enough, specialising in herbs and potions, clairvoyance, prophecies and readings, etc., and did very well for themselves. When Elwood heard of them, she became very excited, hoping that, as fellow magic users, they would become new friends. Maybe she would meet them at the next fair, she thought. However, when the sisters heard of Elwood, they immediately felt that their magical kudos was under serious threat. An actual dragon, for heaven's sake. How could they compete with a creature that was inherently made of magic? Its mere existence made them look like petty charlatans. So they set to work without so much as a word, united by tacit agreement in mind and will, to rid themselves of this dragon. The sisters started to leak insinuations into their prophecies and readings, vaguely at first, about how dragons could not be trusted and that they were a bad lot who would in the long run turn on any who befriended them. Creatures that would steal their gold and devour their children given half a chance. Little by little over the year that followed, the seeds were planted and mistrust grew, and bigoted attitudes spread like a blanket of poisonous slime across the island. The villagers started to look at Elwood with a harder eye, and were not so quick to ask for her help as had been their wont. Some of Elwood's closer friends came to visit her on the mountain, and it was Neff who told her, with shame in his downturned face, of the vicious rumours that the sisters had been putting abroad and how many villagers were being swayed against her. The group had all tried to defend Elwood to the other villagers, but the sisters were too good with their wordcraft and spells, sowing doubt and discord, turning friend against friend and sister against brother. People who had been Elwood's friends, who had laughed and worked and played with her, started to avoid her and pull their children away. Elwood was heartbroken. She tried to make people see that she was still their friend, but one day everything came to a head, as she knew it must. She had come to the village pond and was playing with some children, allowing them to climb all over her, when a crowd of angry villagers appeared. Some at the back bore pitchforks and scythes, and they called the children away. Rolf the blacksmith, whom Elwood had become very fond of, stood before her whey-faced. He told her, his voice shaking, "You must leave this island, Elwood. You are no longer welcome here. We were all stupid to have thought that befriending a dragon might have been a good idea in the first place." He said that the women folk all demanded this, and that, although he personally had no beef with her, she must leave. Some of Elwood's friends appeared, and Neff tried to calm the situation and defend her, but it was futile. The smith threw a punch, and suddenly the whole lot were brawling. Elwood saw Aya get knocked over by a stray elbow, and she bellowed, inadvertently allowing a little flame to slip out, and took wing. She grabbed Aya and flattened the whole lot of them with the downdraft from her takeoff. She deposited the girl a mile away, and after saying a sorrowful and angry farewell to her first ever friend, she took to the sky once again. Elwood was overcome with grief. She flew to the mountain eyrie and moped for days, ashamed and sad, contemplating the situation. She could see that things had gone too far to be recoverable, and that she would have to leave Jag Island. The trust had gone. The joy had gone. So she planned a plan to rid the islanders of the poisonous witches who had corrupted their hearts before she left. That would be her parting gift to them. She hoped that one day they would understand. The sun rose over Jag to catch a sparkling green speck far and away in the sky, farther away than even the eye of an eagle could have spotted, but it wasn't too far for Elwood's eyes looking back. With supernatural sight, she hung in the sky for 3 days, watching the witch's parlour. until at last her surveillance paid off. The witches set out one morning to go to the fair in the neighbouring village of Cleft. They wore their professional garb with their cloaks and pointed hats and all, and they set out walking in line for the coach stop on the nearby Clifftop Road, where they sat down in the brick wall shelter and waited. On seeing the dragon's head rear into view above the cliff top opposite where they sat, closely followed by the incoming fireball, one had covered her eyes, another covered her mouth, trying but failing to suppress a loud scream, and the last, who had not seen the fireball because she was too busy yawning, had covered her ears at the shriek from her sister. The three sisters were instantly transformed into a line of charred silhouettes with pointy hats on the coach stop wall for the rest of eternity. "Ha!" said Elwood smugly to herself. "They didn't see that one coming." Then she suddenly realised that they looked like some small figurines she had seen for sale by a carpenter at the last fair, and those with ears as keen as a dragon's eyes might have heard her snort, "Huh, speak no evil." The last thing Elwood did before she flew away to once again look for a new home was to don her father's necklace and the tiara that Rolf had made for her. She was hurt by Rolf's behaviour, but understood he had been pressured against his will. Then she flew low and slow over every village on the island, silently bidding her friends a sad farewell. The end.